You see, this is how crazy Batman's made Gotham. You want order in Gotham, Batman must take off his mask and turn himself in. Oh, and every day he doesn't, people will die. Starting tonight. I'm a man of my word. By the way, Heath Ledger actually directed those scenes in the movie. Anyway, here's a movie review of The Dark Knight. Hello YouTubers, we're in an all-new movie review, and today marks the 9th year anniversary of The Dark Knight. This is a sequel to Batman Begins, and it is one of the most iconic films of the 21st century. I'm a big Batman fan, and even if you're not a Batman fan, you know what The Dark Knight is. Again, this is directed by Christopher Nolan. Stars Christian Bale as Batman/Bruce Wayne, Heath Ledger as the Joker, Maggie Gyllenhaal replaces Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes, Aaron Eckhart is Harvey Dent, Gary Oldman is Lieutenant Gordon, Michael Caine is Alfred Pennyworth, Eric Roberts plays Sal Maroni, and Cillian Murphy has a brief appearance as Scarecrow. Yeah, the anticipation for The Dark Knight was high. I was waiting for this movie ever since the ending of Batman Begins with the Joker card. Yeah, the Joker card. Just flipped it over and had this Joker card. The Joker card. He looks into it and we're introduced to the Joker. Now, this came out a couple of years after Batman Begins in 2008. They filmed it in 2007. Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker. He did Brokeback Mountain previously. And I wasn't sure on the casting because I was expecting like the traditional Joker. He played a completely different Joker. I was one of those naysayers, really mad. I was like, why did they have Heath Ledger in this? Why is Katie Holmes being replaced? The casting is perfect in this, and Heath Ledger really surprised me. It shut me up. Ever since then, I've trusted movie casting after Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger just blows it out of the water and gives one of the most chilling, villainous performances ever, and this is among one of his best performances. You don't even see Heath Ledger, you just see the Joker. Anyway, there's a lot of buzz on this film, and they even had viral marketing. Yeah, YouTube was just coming up, and I remember like they had the website, and they had like the I Believe in Harvey Dent campaigns, Joker defacing different things, different teasers. You'd go through so many Easter egg hunts just to see one person's shoe end up being like the Joker prison photo. Yeah, it was crazy. That was the age back then before social media really took off. But it was very much ahead of its time, The Dark Knight. And yeah, I remember seeing the trailer on I Am Legend. It was so epic. One of the best trailers ever made that I forgot what movie I went to go see. I Am Legend just was not that epic after seeing that Dark Knight trailer. That was just an epic trailer. Anyway, Heath Ledger unfortunately passed away in January 22nd of 2008. And I wasn't sure if he completed the film or not, but he did complete the film, including some looping. And this is his last completed film, but not his last film. His last film was The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. So, with this film coming out, it had a wide anticipation, and it was the first motion picture film to be filmed with an IMAX camera. Not entirely, but in certain sequences. And I actually still have the Dark Knight IMAX ticket. I didn't see it on the first day, I saw it the day after. I was 5 hours away. I was down South Texas, and I drove with my family to Bob Bullock Museum in Austin, Texas, and I saw it on IMAX. The first major motion picture I saw on IMAX. Because before that, you just had like the Everest films and a whole bunch of stuff from NASA, not a major motion picture. And it really influenced the movie industry moving forward with films such as The Transformers, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, Skyfall, The Hobbit trilogy. So many other films now are filmed with IMAX sequences, with IMAX camera technology. And it was also the first superhero film to cross the 1 billion mark. Heath Ledger also won a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and it is no wonder. Besides that, I got the movie Master Toys. I got a Batman belt with a mask. I even got a Joker glove and a mask. Anyway, I got the merchandise, and I even had the Gotham City pizza box you can see right here. Yeah, I still have it. Doesn't smell like old pepperoni, no food in it, I swear, but I almost had it for a decade now. Yeah, I'm a big fan of The Dark Knight. And yeah, let me go into what The Dark Knight is about, and then I go into my more in-depth review and thoughts. Again, I also have another video on my other channel called The Dark Knight, A Modern Fable of Order and Chaos, in which I go over an abridged version of my essay review. Yeah! Back in 2011, I wrote a 100-page essay for this film. So yeah, what is The Dark Knight about? The Dark Knight starts about a year after Batman Begins. Now, this Gotham is very different. It still looks the same. It's still filmed in Chicago, but it's entirely filmed in Chicago. It's on location. It was also the first Batman to be filmed outside of Gotham, meaning he goes to other areas, operates as the Batman. He ends up going to Hong Kong later in the film, which I get to in an amazing sequence. The first Batman film to have him function outside of Gotham. And it's also the only one where he does not use a Batarang. It's a year after. He ends up finding Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. He's basically selling his drug on the streets. And he pretty much stops him, arrests him. Meanwhile, we have vigilantes inspired by Batman. They're dressed up like him with Halloween masks and hockey pads. And they're wondering, why are you going after us? We want the same thing. What's the difference between you and me? And he's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads. Anyway, he doesn't want vigilantes. When he said he wanted to inspire people in Batman Begins, he wanted to be a symbol. This was not the way. This film, we get to see the escalation that Gordon was talking about. So the film opens up and we see a guy who's unidentified. He has a clown mask, and there's this whole bank robbery sequence. Very spectacular. They shoot a zip line out of a window, go down, and you find out it's a mob bank. Meanwhile, this bank, the robbers are basically killing off each other, saying that the Joker told them to kill the other guy so they get a bigger share. Make a long story short, the Joker is there with them. He reveals himself, and the guard's just mad. He shoots his guard, and the guard's just like, criminals in this town used to believe in honor, respect. What do you believe in? He's like, I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. That's how it starts. You get to see the introduction of the Joker. Then Batman, like I said earlier, takes down Scarecrow. We get to see him in his suit. He gets attacked by dogs. He gets beat up. There's a spectacular shot where he jumps off the garage area and lands on a van. Meanwhile, he investigates the bank robbery with Lieutenant Gordon now, and they have radiated bills. You find out it's a mob bank, and that 5 mob banks have been hit. So they may have enough evidence to bring down the entire mob, and Batman and Gordon basically want to bring down the mob. They think that the entire mob is more important than bringing down this one man named the Joker. So we're also introduced to this new elected official, Harvey Dent, as a district attorney. He's also the love interest of Rachel Dawes. So we have Batman, and of course Wayne Manor was burnt in Batman Begins, so he's not at his penthouse. He ends up going to this area, this, like, I guess, cargo shipping yard he has on private property. He is underground operating. It's like this fluorescent room, Batcave prototype, so to speak, and he's basically spying on everyone, and Alfred's talking to him about his limits. And anyway, to make a long story short, they try to go after the mob, and this man named Lau pretty much moves the mob's money out. And goes, and they can't prosecute him, so Harvey Dent's like, I need Lau. If we can get him, we can get the mob to sing. And Batman's like, I can get him. So Batman goes to Hong Kong, and we get, this is cool, it's very cool, we get to see him operate as Bruce Wayne as well as Batman. And also Wayne Enterprises has a new building makeover, so to speak, but we also get some functionality and practical reasons for him to have a suit redesign. He can't turn his head, he needs to be faster, so there's actually a real reason why he has a suit redesign. It's not to sell toys, it's actually functions in the story. And it's pretty cool too, because unlike the other bat suit, this one is a fully functional bat suit, meaning he can be in the daylight, he can be anywhere. It actually is a real bat suit. It's not like they have to have it in low lighting like in Batman Begins to cover up the mistakes. Anyways, in a spectacular fashion, he brings back Lau from Gotham. We also have the Joker introduced with the mob. The mob's like, why did you steal our money? And he's like, a year ago, these cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened? Your balls drop off or something? We have Michael J. White as Gamble, and it's kind of cool. He gets a goon over. He's like, how about a magic trick? And he like gets a pencil, and then just basically headbutts a guy, slams his head into a pencil, and he's like, ta-da! It's gone. Not only is it funny, but it's very sadistic. We get to see the Joker's humor in this scene. And he pretty much gives him his calling card saying, when you want to change your mind, let me go after the Batman. The mob hires the Joker because Lau talked about the money, he's worried about the mob killing him, and they end up having a RICO case. Now, a RICO case means you basically, if you can charge one person with conspiracy, you can charge all the conspirators. So they're all charged with felonies, and the whole mob is basically charged with one crime in this co-conspiracy. So now Gordon's a target, the judge is a target, pretty much anybody over the prosecution of the mob is a target. Sal Maroni, played by Eric Roberts, hires the Joker, and this is when the film gets really crazy, and the Joker's that wild card. They let the clown out of the box, basically. And this is where themes of sacrifice, morality, order, and chaos really get to flourish in the story between the Batman and the Joker. You have that wonderful function for Harvey Dent. Bruce basically thinks Harvey Dent is the White Knight, the person he's been waiting for to be the true hero of Gotham. And he basically offers him money for an election. And they have this function, Rachel and him are together, and he basically wants another life with Rachel. We also have a kind of a small love triangle between Rachel Dawes, Harvey Dent, and Bruce Wayne. But Rachel deep down knows that Bruce Wayne may not give up Batman. There may be a time when Gotham no longer needs Batman, but she's worried that there may not be a time when he no longer needs Batman. So that's kind of a predicament there. Anyway, spectacular fashion, there's like quick montage edits of him basically wiping out Commissioner Loeb, the judge. He's just basically having hits on everyone, and he's at the Harvey Dent function. He's just like, where is Harvey Dent? I love that scene. There's such peril in there. We also get to see Bruce Wayne act without the bat suit, him knocking goons out and stuff at the function. And then you have like Joker there, and he tells that Senator Lay guy, "You remind me of my father." He has a cameo in almost every Batman film. He's in this, he's in Rises, he's also in Batman v Superman, and he was in Batman and Robin. Yeah, that guy is a true Batman fan. And he has a lot of cameos. Anyway, that great scene between Rachel Dawes and the Joker where he's like, "You remind me of my wife." And he tells her that story, and it's great because they use this camera movement where it moves around him in 360-degree angle. And usually they use that for like romance movies and stuff, or when there's a big kiss, but this is just a moment of just pure terror. And I love it where she hits him, and he's like, "A little fight in you. I like that." Then he's like, "Then you're gonna love me." Batman punches him. Then the whole part where he throws Rachel off, and it's just like, poor choice of words. Okay, I know that was a giant ramble. Pretty much all you need to know is that the Joker attacked, Batman saves Rachel, their lives are in danger. And Harvey Dent does not back down. He still wants Lau in containment. Now, he thinks he's safer in County. Gordon thinks he's safer at the MCU. And the problem is that Gordon has dirty cops in his unit. And Harvey Dent knows that. Gordon knows that. But Gordon's not doing anything about it, which is going to come back to bite him in the ass later. They have the funeral for Commissioner Loeb. And Batman's investigating who this Joker is. He sets up this trap and then ends up having a press conference. Things get so bad. Gordon is shot, but they think he's dead. He's not dead. They think he's dead, and it's just crazy. The film really gets dark at that point, and then Rachel Dawes becomes a target. We get to see more of Harvey Dent, not only with his anger, but a little bit of the Harvey Two-Face persona starting to come out. And I just love that scene where he's like, "I make my own luck." And then Batman's just like, "Leave a man's life to chance." Not exactly. "You're the symbol of hope. I can never be. Your stand on crime is the first legitimate ray of light at Gotham in decades. If you do this, everything would be undone, and Jim Gordon would have died for nothing." Anyway, my throat hurts. I can't do the Batman voice like I usually do, but I love that. Then he interrogates Maroni. There's this good nightclub fight, and pretty much Harvey Dent says he's the Batman. Rachel is upset about this, and it's sad because it's the last time Alfred talks to her, and I knew she was going to die because the song played when Rachel leaves, Alfred Looks, is the same look and music that was playing when he talked to the Waynes before they went to the Opera House and Batman Begins. Anyway, you get that spectacular car chase. The Batmobile gets destroyed, and then you have the Batpod, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. The whole truck flip. They actually flipped an 18-wheeler, the whole Batpod going up the wall, and then it's like, "Come on, hit me!" And then they capture the Joker, and it's crazy because so many other films have basically repeated this thing. They repeated the villain actually wanting to get caught and it being part of the plan. For example, Silva in Skyfall. But this scene takes a lot of references from the 1995 film Heat with Michael Mann. It stars Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and it's a scene they meet face to face. It feels just like that. Two powerhouses meeting. Cat and mouse game the whole time. They meet face to face halfway through the movie. It's very much like Heat. This film, it transcends comic book films. It is a good crime film. It's in the range of The Departed or Heat. I mean, it is great in the way that like Logan transcended the genre to like a Western. Dark Knight is a crime film, hands down. It's an action-adventure with elements of a drama, but ultimately, it's a crime film. It's not only one of the best comic book films, but it's just a great film. To call it a comic book film would be an insult. Anyways, the Joker just tests Batman's morality, tests his code of honor. It's a very, very intense interrogation scene, and Heath Ledger is just pure evil in this. The way he laughs, the way he toys with Batman. I haven't seen a performance this chilling since Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. I think Heath Ledger goes a step further. This Joker is really a psychopath. He's not just like a clown prince of crime. No, this guy is a true serial killer psychopath. Like this guy, there's a piece of dialogue Alfred says in the movie that like, some men aren't looking for anything logical. They can't be bought, bullied, or reasoned with. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And that's what I get from Heath Ledger's Joker. He's somebody who really wants the world to burn. But also, he sees Batman as an equal. Somebody who he has a lot in common with. Batman wants to know where Rachel and Harvey Dent are. They were kidnapped. There's a bomb. And they're both in two different places. And Batman's interrogating Joker, figuring out that Joker wanted to be caught, that he planned this whole thing just to test Batman. And I love that about this film because you have two different ideologies, two different points of view and beliefs that are both challenged. There's a line later in the movie is just like, this is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. It's exactly what this movie is. And it's a good balance between the order and chaos, and ultimately the theme of it, the theme of chaos, what happens. And the way that Batman Begins has themes of fear, this has themes of chaos and anarchy. Like Dark Knight Rises has themes of pain. Yeah, this film is just phenomenal in that way. Anyways, Joker switched the addresses, Rachel dies, she gets blown up, and Batman saves Harvey, but half his face gets burnt. Harvey becomes Two-Face, Rachel is dead, and Batman, Bruce Wayne, thinks that Rachel is going to wait for him. Turns out she wrote a letter to Alfred saying she chose Harvey Dent, but Alfred doesn't share that with him, which is not important right now, but it will be in the third part. Anyway, he's just basically in despair. He's lost all hope. It's a movie about sacrifice. And this is the start of that for Batman in this film. Harvey Two-Face is out, and there's also this other character named Coleman Reese who works for Wayne Enterprises who basically figures out that Bruce Wayne's Batman is trying to blackmail him. Well, he's about to release his identity to the news, which by the way is Anthony Michael Hall, who plays Mike Ingle. Anyway, Joker's pissed. He's just like, no, nobody's, not on my watch. Nobody's going to give away the Batman's identity. So he basically tells people, I pay you $1 million if you go kill this guy. So all hell just breaks loose. Two-Face goes and basically finds the corrupt cops that kidnapped him and Rachel, who are in Gordon's unit, and he's killing them. But he has a coin. One side's burnt because he gave it to Rachel, so it's like back and forth. He no longer makes his own luck. He has choices. And it's just gruesome. I mean, it makes Tommy Lee Jones from Batman Forever look like he just had regular toothpaste. I mean, this one is like a burn victim. Like, I'm surprised he's alive and not in agonizing pain, but maybe that adds to the madness. By the way, before I move on, Heath Ledger's great in this, but I think an underrated performance is Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Two-Face, as Harvey Dent. Gives a very, very underrated performance in this. Not only as Harvey Dent, but when he does adopt the Two-Face persona. Now, Thank You for Smoking, he was great, and in that movie got him the role for Harvey Dent. Originally they offered it to Matt Damon, but he got it in this one, and this is among one of his best roles and very, very underrated. I like the pain and sorrow and also the anger within him. He's very different people, and you also get to see a little bit of the conflict within him, and also just basically just being broken. He's no longer that person. There's a good line he says later in the film, is like, you thought we could be decent men in an indecent time. I just love that. So Two-Face is pretty much out there, and then Batman ends up getting the sonar device to find the Joker. And to make a long story short, they have a final confrontation, but they blow up a hospital. Yeah, Heath Ledger dresses as a nurse. It's such a crazy part, but I love that. And they filmed it in Chicago at the time. I remember when they filmed it, I saw that on the news. I was like, oh, I thought that was a real explosion. It's like, nope, they did that for the filming. So it's weird following the filming and then seeing what the actual film was. And supposedly the pause was filmed, but Heath Ledger improvised that. He also improvised the clap he gave to Gordon when he became Commissioner Gordon after he was captured. I forgot to go over that. But for this abridged synopsis, pretty much all you need to know is that Batman has a final confrontation with the Joker. He lets him live, but then he finds out that the Joker has an ace in the hole. And he's just like, what did you do? You need an ace in the hole. Mine's Harvey. I took Gotham's White Knight, and I brought him down to our level. You see, it wasn't hard. Madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. I love that, and then Batman basically saying is like, this city just shows you that it's full of people ready to believe in good. Till their spirit breaks completely. Anyway, there's a cool part with the ferries where they have all the inmates on one ferry and all the citizens. They didn't want a repeat of the Narrows from Batman Begins, and they have detonators, and you think they're going to blow each other up. No. And it's cool because I have this convict, it's a guy from freaking Friday films, and he throws a detonator out. I find that so awesome because it pulls a reversal trope in the film, basically meaning it goes against expectations. I just love that final confrontation, how heroic the music is and everything, and then ultimately Harvey Dent back at the site where Rachel died. He has Gordon's family hostage and Batman there. It is just such an emotional scene where it's just like, why did the Joker choose me? It's like, because you were the best of us. He wanted to prove that even someone as good as you could fall. And he's like, he was right. You're the one pointing the gun, Harvey. So point at the people responsible. Shoots Batman, flips a coin, and he's about to kill Jim Gordon's son. Batman tackles Harvey off, Harvey dies, Batman falls, he's injured, and pretty much Batman takes the fall. The Joker won, and that's the crazy thing about this film. Ideologies, morality, everything was tested both psychologically and physically, and the villain won. This is one of the few films where the villain, the antagonist, the bad guy actually wins. Batman failed, but he can't have that. People can't know what happened with Harvey Dent, so Batman takes the blame for all the cops that Harvey murdered, and they chase him. It ends with that line where Gordon's just like, he's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, and he's just like, the Dark Knight. And then it has the Batpod going to the light. The greatest ending ever. Okay, I know I rambled really long. I didn't mean to go over a whole plot summary, but that's pretty much the overview of the film in a retrospective sense as far as plot and everything. But what I love about this film, the score, the performances are great. Morgan Freeman, the little things like where Coleman Reese is blackmailing him, and it's just like, so you think that one of the wealthiest men in the world is secretly a vigilante beating people to a pulp, and your plan is to blackmail this guy? Good luck. I love that, and the acting with Heath Ledger. And in that interrogation scene, Christian Bale said that Heath Ledger told him to punch him hard, so it would actually feel real. So those were actual real punches that were hard. That's just crazy with the improvisation and everything to the performance. Heath Ledger also, before this, read The Killing Joke. It made a diary of what he thought the Joker would think of as being funny, and he locked himself in a hotel room for 6 weeks. That is impressive. That is like method acting there. Not in the way of like Jared Leto's Joker saying it's method. Like, he really delved into the role. Not only that, he made it completely different than Jack Nicholson. At the time, I'm like, nobody can top Jack Nicholson. Heath Ledger did, and he did something completely different and original and fresh and unique that even later on Joker incarnations took inspiration from. Hell, this Joker novel by Brian Azzarello took influence from The Dark Knight. There is also inspirations from Batman The Long Halloween, specifically with Harvey Dent, and you also had Scarecrow with the horse in Batman Begins. In addition, you also have Heath Ledger as a security guard from Batman #1 from 1940, and the bank robbery clown mask was also the same mask Cesar Romero had when he was first introduced as a Joker in the 1960s Batman. Christian Bale, I think, is an underrated performance. Now, in post-production, they messed with his voice to make it sound deeper, which is a bummer because I actually liked his voice a little bit better in Batman Begins. But I don't mind the growl. It sounds intimidating, and there are some moments where it warranted that. Maggie Gyllenhaal surprised me. I wanted Katie Holmes in the sequel, but you know what? I don't think I would have felt sorry if she got blown up. Maggie Gyllenhaal actually made me care about Rachel Dawes, which is more than I could say for Katie Holmes in Batman Begins. That was an improvement. Aaron Eckhart's excellent. Michael Caine, again, Morgan Freeman. Gary Oldman is a chameleon. Like I said in my last review, he is Commissioner Gordon. Eric Roberts is great as a mob boss. Michael J. White. I mean, the whole cast and everything. This film is perfect. Near perfect, but it's high enough to be perfect for me. Also, the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard is fantastic. Why So Serious? Aggressive expansion. I thought my jokes were bad. Introduced a little anarchy. Agent of Chaos, and then you have Dark Knight. But Why So Serious has been using so much stuff. They improved upon their score in Batman Begins and added a darker theme for the elements of this film. And yeah, IMAX. Wally Pfister won Cinematography Academy Award for Batman Begins, and they upped the ante with IMAX. They made it bigger and better, and it is such an amazing, beautiful film. I would give anything to see it in IMAX again. This and The Dark Knight Rises are wonderfully shot with IMAX. I wish the whole film was in IMAX. But above all, the sequences that do have it are amazing. Hong Kong, some of the Lamborghini chase scenes, the hospital explosion, the car chase, that whole ending at the Pruitt building. That's amazing, and Christopher Nolan really upped the ante. David S. Goyer wrote it, and you also had Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, involved in the writing. And originally they're going to have the Joker's trial, and the Joker burn Harvey's face with acid, but they changed that. And what I like about this film is that Christopher Nolan had no idea he was making a part 3, so he really put everything into one film that was needed to be there. Batman Begins and Dark Knight were great for that. The films feel very fulfilled and rewarding watching it, and it was such a tour de force when it came out. It's just a shame that it wasn't nominated in an Oscar. It's the reason why we had more nominations for Best Picture, and I think it's bullshit that it wasn't nominated at least, and I think it should have gotten it. Yes, over Slumdog Millionaire or some of the other films. The Dark Knight is that important of a film. How many other films from 2008 have you heard about or talked about since? The Dark Knight at 9 years old is still one of the most iconic, influential films of the 21st century, and probably the best comic book film ever made. And you know what? It's one of the best films ever made. It's an insult to call it a comic book film. It's that fantastic. I'm a Batman fan, but taking that away, as an audience member, as a filmmaker, it's a fantastic fable of just order and chaos, and I give The Dark Knight an A+, a 5 out of 5, and a 10 out of 10. The Dark Knight is a cinematic masterpiece. It is the Godfather Part 2 of comic book films. Period. The Dark Knight is the Godfather Part 2 of comic book films. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, and an A+. It is fantastic. So again, as far as negatives, I can't really think of any. Maybe just a little bit on the editing. It's a bit odd during the chase. There's this part where he's in the bat pod, he's going towards a door, shoots it, and then he's like a little bit before or after in another area, and then crashes through there, and then like it's just weird. The way it's jumbled is just weird to me. I don't know if it's alternate angles or they reverse the order. Really weird, if you know what I'm talking about. Other than that, some people say it's a little bit too long. I actually don't think so, but yeah, it's everything it needs to be in there, and it's just such a fantastic film, and we're blessed to have Heath Ledger play the Joker. He's probably the best Joker there is on live action. And it's just so great to see him and Batman face against one another, to actually have his antagonist, so-called his Professor Moriarty, to face against. Ultimately, it is a well-crafted film. The music is top-notch, the cinematography is excellent, the story is very well written. The flow of it feels very well. It's not like a franchise now where they add so much stuff in it that becomes convoluted and just overstuffed. It has just the right amount. The acts progress upon each other. They actually have themes that are built. The Joker brings up stuff that questions your own morality. This is one of those films that makes you think about the world you live in after you see it. Performances are great. The action is phenomenal, and yeah, The Dark Knight's influence can still be felt today, and yeah, I give it an A+, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Again, The Godfather Part 2 of comic book films. That is my retrospective review of The Dark Knight. I have another video on my Dark Knight of Steel channel called The Dark Knight, a Fable of Order and Chaos, and it's on my channel, hopefully. I have a couple of scenes I go over, and it's just a brief version of my 100-page essay that I was going to read entirely, but my throat hurts. It actually affected this review right now. But anyway, go check that out on my other channel, and also check out my Batman Begins movie review here on the Frederick Lopez channel. If you haven't seen Dark Knight, where the hell have you been? Go watch it. But if you have, you know how special it is. Discuss it in the comments below. Let me know, what did you think of The Dark Knight? What were some of your favorite moments? Anyway, that's all for today, and tune in Thursday on The Dark Knight Rises 5th year anniversary, in which I'll go over my movie review of The Dark Knight Rises. Enjoy, guys. Thank you for watching. Feel free to discuss stuff in the comments below. If you like this video, click the like button, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Until then.